And you may ask why we're wearing these pilot outfits. That's because of our Extreme Cloud IQ management system and a new co-pilot that's coming out. So we're your co-pilots today.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the good part. The product is called Cloud IQ Pilot. So we came out with Copilot. We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, what that means. And we'll even talk a little bit about Autopilot coming. The whole idea is to make your job easier as an IT professional. If we can take pressure off of you when an issue happens, then there's huge value in it.
We're good to go.
All right, we're good?
Yep.
So first off, everybody here, I would ask that you write your name, and we will capture that before we're done here. And we're going to add everybody's name here. How do we capture everybody online? Do we have a way to do that?
I can make a list of names.
Yeah, if you'll do that, we're going to capture everybody's name online. You'll go into a drawing for a 4K drone because you attended our event. So we like that. So it's one of those drones that it's nice and small. It can follow you around. I don't know. I think it flies for like 30 minutes or so, and have fun and enjoy it.
Not responsible for the drone outside of after we hand you that drone, just being 100% honest.
And now everybody's heard every manufacturer today is having a chip shortage. I don't care if you're the automotive companies, you're Cisco, you're us, you name it. Every vendor has this issue today. Have you all heard about the chip shortage? So I thought I'd start out with a little humor. It's not that kind of chip shortage. So a little fun with that. But what's happening here is the supply chains have been impacted. So silicon manufacturing, we've lost 20% of the silicon manufacturing in the world. What happened was there was a plant in the Carolinas, a couple in China, they burned down. So that creates an issue. So now we have less supply. Then we have our product can't get from the chip vendors out here. So we have an interesting piece with our ports being blocked, and you've probably seen that. Go watch the 60 Minutes video on the chip issue. There's a 13-minute one that's really well done. And then, of course, they're reacting. So Intel and TSMC and Samsung are going to spend $250 billion to help alleviate the chip shortage. But how long does it take to build a new clean room plant in Arizona? 3 years, 2 years? So be prepared that this is going to take a little longer than we thought. And what's happening is I went to Western Michigan University, and our motto was row the boat, and everybody pulls together. So work with your Loeffler team. Work with us. We'll help you. We've been able to expedite different customers' orders to meet certain business needs. But think about it this way. If you have a project in June, and it's on your budget for next June, you want to think about working backwards. And the lead times could be months, not weeks. It's not like what we were used to. So take a couple of minutes, be aware of that, work with your Loeffler team. Everybody's in the same boat, but we're here to help work with you on that. And so Extreme Networks, we're trying to simplify the environment. And what our goal is if we can make your job easier, High Point Networks is the company to do it with. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Kenny, and kick it off.
Well, thank you guys very much. My name's Kenny Peach. I am the America's Sales Cloud Leader for Extreme Networks. I cover the East and North Central of the Americas. We're growing. We're growing quickly. We've actually just increased our entire staff by 170 employees just this quarter. Here we grow again. We just acquired a new company called Impanema for an SD-WAN vision. It is huge, huge. When we start to think about Extreme Networks, you start to think, who is Extreme? What do they do? Do we know they do networking? We know they do wireless. Well, we're the fastest growing network vendor in the world. The fastest. We're taking more mind share away from Aruba, away from HP, away from all of those guys. Why are we doing that right now? We're making it really simple. We just acquired a company called Aerohive about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Why did we acquire Aerohive? Was it because of their access points? No, everyone has access points. We've made some great acquisitions over the last few years that have actually brought us up into that right magic quadrant for Gartner. And by the way, we've been there before we purchased Aerohive. We were there before we purchased the #1 most secure fabric network in the world from Avaya. Why is that? Well, we're #1 for GTAC and support. #1, what does that mean? That means that we have a first call resolution rate of 98%. Think about that. You call into a support at another company, you got a customer service rep, you got someone somewhere else, and they're like, okay, we're opening a ticket, we'll get back to you. At Extreme, you get a level 1 or level 2 engineer. We've got 3,000 employees that work for Extreme Networks. Out of those 3,000 employees, over half of them are engineers or they have been engineers. We believe in research and development. We come out with the products before they come out with the products. Why is that? Well, we just came out with Wi-Fi 6E. We shipped before any other manufacturer out there. Why is that? Because a lot of these other companies want to see what we do. We've been in business for a long, long time, 96, right? Everyone's like, that's not that long. Well, in the networking world and starting off less than a $1 billion company, guys like us usually get bought up early. Not us. We keep leading the way in what we're trying to do. We're also global. So think about the Meraki's, think about the Arubas of the world. They're global as well. What do we build off of? Well, right now we are the second largest cloud in the industry. Second largest cloud. We've not been doing it the longest time, and we're the second largest cloud. Take how about 140,000 other instances of our Extreme Cloud IQ that are running globally throughout the world. It's quite amazing to think how big we are and what we're doing. You'll learn a little bit more about what we're doing. This says 3-peat, it's actually a 4-peat. We're actually up there in the right magic quadrant. Why are we up there? Because we're buying the companies, we're doing the research and development to get us to move to the next generation, to the next level. We purchased Aerohive, not for their access points, but their cloud vision. They had Hive Manager. That was fantastic. We liked it. But what we wanted to do is put Hive Manager on steroids. We wanted to take Hive Manager, take Extreme Cloud IQ, which is called now, juice it up, bring third-party devices, not just Extreme devices, third-party devices into that one pane of glass. These other companies say they do one pane of glass. Okay, fantastic. When I look at HP Aruba, I look at Juniper Mist, I look at Cisco Meraki, they can't bring their own businesses under one pane of glass, let alone how are we going to trust them with your companies? So the way that we look at it is this. Via SNMP, we bring third-party devices rolled up into Extreme Cloud IQ. Now you can manage those third-party devices. How is that important to you? Let's just think you are doing a refresh. You're going to rip out all of your Cisco environment. Aruba's coming in. Yeah, we want to go with you, but you got to rip everything out and we're going to put it in. With Extreme, what we do is this. Hey, let's bring those devices into our one pane of glass. And then slowly but surely, we can replace those devices as your budget sees fit. Maybe if you're an E-rate customer, you don't have all the funding to do it at once. Maybe if you're a commercial customer, you just don't have the funding to do it because of COVID, because of some other things that have come up. Well, guess what? You can work with us at your own pace. Product of the year, CRN. We've been spending so much money on our research and development to make sure that this product works for you. We've been investing in your companies before you invested in us, because we want to make sure the analytics is correct. We want to make sure that this software is working for you. You not working for that. What is it? 75% of all IT engineers work on their software, work on their network, even after they purchase a DNA or ICE or a ClearPass or whatever. They're working on that software more than they're spending time with their customers. That's not what we're doing. Here at Extreme, we're saying we want you to work with your customers. Build that ROI. Don't spend the time on our network. If you're spending too much time on our network, that means you're not looking at the future for your company. You're not looking at the future for your students. We want to switch that. That's why we're growing in that mind share. That's why we're growing in that market share. That's why we're acquiring those businesses. I mean, we got a couple of small customers up here. And this is only a few. I can show you 4 to 5, 6 slides just like this. We just landed all of Major League Baseball. So if you've been watching the playoffs, Major League Baseball, we're responsible for the customer experience. A lot of the other vendors that you see get brought up there, they get put on the wall, whatever. They pay to get put on that wall. Well, we're not paying to play. We are providing them the network, the backbone that's going to run 300 cameras. That's going to run all of that network securely through there, just like how important that is. 300 cameras for every game. Imagine how much data is running through that network and that we're actually having to make secure and actually make available to the actual open public. Now let's talk, when we start thinking about the Super Bowl, the last Super Bowl. Well, we've been to the Super Bowl 8 times. The last 8 times, we've been there more times than Tom Brady has, successfully, right? So if you think about that, the last Super Bowl was great. I was there. I was 8 rows up. I was with the CIO for a company called Racetrack. It's one of the largest gas station chains in the country. And I was sitting there, half a mile away from the stadium. We're walking in. Okay, we're gonna drive. This is crazy. So we drove in. Quarter mile away, they had little scanner IDs where they actually had to take your credit card. Our wireless had to be provided all the way out there because it was a contact-free. It was all cashless, contact-free environment for that Super Bowl. 25,000 people instead of the 75,000 people. It was our hardest Super Bowl yet because instead of one person having to go up and pay, I'm going to take that beer and that dog, and you pass the money down like you're used to, you have to swipe a credit card for every transaction. You had to swipe a credit card for every transaction in the gift shop. Swipe a credit card to go in and out of the parking garage. So we had to make sure everything was seamless. And that's why that made it that much difficult. And it was smooth as ice. This year, you'll see us at the World Series. You'll also see us at the ALCS and the NLCS because we're providing that customer experience, the Wi-Fi experience. In each one of the dugouts, you'll see Extreme Wireless. We will be providing analytics and detailed reporting. Fast the pitch goes, where the players are going, where everything's going. Anything to add on that, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. If you follow, I like football. I played rugby, okay? So I like hitting. And what's fun is in the NFL, 26 of the 31 NFL stadiums are 100% extreme. They're leveraging our analytics. They're leveraging what we deliver. Of Major League Baseball, 20 stadiums are getting renovated right this year. Do you like NASCAR? Go to Talladega, Daytona, Indy, 100% extreme. And you'll probably hear something with Feel Like Hockey. So that's an announcement coming, but they've already said yes. So we're delivering in huge environments. But more than that, we're also delivering for a two-person gas station down the road and a hotel down the road and a bank with 30 locations in a variety of different areas. So what we've done is we are investing. And so we grew last year 122% in COVID. Why? You, our customers, and some of them aren't customers yet, are investing in us with their dollars. They see the vision, they like the outcome. But you know what? Our support is number one. Kenny mentioned that. We solve problems when they occur. But wouldn't you like to call a TAC engineer when you do, instead of saying, are the lights on? And we've all been on those calls, right? Where the TAC engineer already has a packet capture already in front of them that you didn't have to send. So we have a technology with our cloud software to do that. We call that Copilot. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But we also in our LAN switching have introduced a technology that used to be only available in the carrier environment. We call it Fabric. And basically it's an operating system that gives me sub-second failover automatically. If I have to set a VLAN on 20 or 30 switches, right, for maybe a new management VLAN or a camera VLAN or whatever, how long is it going to take you? Well, I got to log into each switch, cut and paste some stuff, right? Stop that. With Fabric, you set up a service and you program the one switch port that you're connecting the camera to, and you tell it where it's going, and it will auto-program all the VLANs automatically. There's no additional software. It's built in. And if I unplug the camera, it unprograms it.
Is it secure? I mean, how secure is it?
Well, this is interesting. We are using hyper-segmentation, up to 16 million segments. So that, and we're not using Ethernet to go between switches. So we're using a protocol called ISIS. Talk to the guys over at Palo. They use ISIS for communication. So we eliminate OSPF, we eliminate BGP needs, and all of that shaky stack that occurs out there. We handle it with one protocol, incredibly simple. Has anybody ever put up video circuit and set up PIM? It's a page and a half of coding on a switch. For us to do multicast in video, it's 2 lines. And I can handle thousands of streams on an inexpensive pizza box switch. Try doing that with some of the companies I've worked for. You get to 50, 100, 200, and it starts herky-jerkying and you start losing frames. Eliminate that. Casinos love us, hospitals love us because of our video capability. But from a security, because we are hyper-segmenting the network, we're offering unrivaled security. We do hackathons where we bring $100,000 cash, put it there, and we give them the code. And if you can get from the edge to the core, take the briefcase. No one in 10 years has been able to break it. Not to say it won't happen someday, but so far we're pretty solid. And it's on the inexpensive switches now. So we really enjoy that.
And it's the most installed fabric in the industry. The most installed fabric in the industry, the most secured fabric in the industry, let alone when I start saying the most installed, not just here in the States, globally.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about Wi-Fi 6E. Anybody heard about Wi-Fi 6E? So that's the next generation of AX wireless. And so we've all heard about Wi-Fi 4. That was in 802.11n, and it was around 2009 when it came out. And what happened is we didn't call it 802. We didn't call it Wi-Fi 4. We called it N, right? Well, what's happening is the Wi-Fi Alliance wants to give it easy names for customers to see. So we got Wi-Fi 4, then we had AC, remember that came out? And then there was a little issue, so they had to have AC Wave 2 to fix some problems. So they did that. Then Wi-Fi 6 came out, which was AX in 2018. Extreme was the first company to ship product in September of 2018. We led the industry. And now Wi-Fi 6E is out, where we've added another radio. So we've got the 2, 4, we got the 5, now we got a 6 gigahertz radio. And we pick up a tremendous amount of new channels, new throughput capabilities to create better security, to better throughput, and a better experience. But 6E, we shipped in July over 2,000 APs to multiple customers. We led the world once again in this area. But the advantage of 6E is more channels, better throughput, better capability.
And with its ultra band technology now, think about being in the end zone. Think about those passes. If you remember watching the football games and you're seeing live with Amazon, blah, 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 and analytics, and you start seeing how the pass was thrown at 109 miles per hour, or he was caught at this, he was running at 35 miles per hour. Now our access points with Wi-Fi 6E, we have our AP4000s and our AP5000s that are going to be released here shortly. They're going to be able to track all of that data. And unlike other companies that require you to have multiple pods of units to do location services, all those other things, we include them with our essentials package. Absolutely. It's included. And it's also included with the sensors built into our access points, so you don't have to buy another additional sensor. You know, if you go to Chick-fil-A right now, they're using location services. And how are they using location services? They're using it to locate where their employees are. They're using it to locate with their little RFIDs what packages come in out of their storage so they can keep a track of inventory. They're also keeping a track of how many people walk through the marketing center, they call it the marketing center, as well as the drive-through. It is huge, and it's all included with one license, any device, one price.
So is Wi-Fi 6E good for you? I don't know. I think, first thing, how many of you have a Wi-Fi 6E capable end user device? Well, there's some cell phones out there, but not many. But over time, over this next year, you're going to see more and more devices and tablets and laptops. They'll automatically get that. But where 6E is going to give you is better traffic management and enhancements. It's going to give you a lot more channels. More channels mean less interference, so that I have better user experience and better throughput. It's going to be faster. That's good. I always like speed, right? We're now exceeding the speed of 100 meg wire. I mean, we're coming up on gig speed sometimes for wireless today. So this is good. But where I see this interesting is in the subordinate device. I can now have 2 APs and one can run off the other and mesh back. Now, this gives me some flexibility to do different architectures that maybe will help address needs. But we also can use it 6 gig for backhaul. So now I have an end user device, it connects to an AP, but I could backhaul around and I have multiple paths because I've meshed it. So if one becomes saturated, I can automatically reroute and maintain that video connection that you're doing, the Zoom meeting you're doing. So we see some of these areas for 6E, I think is going to bring a lot of value for customers. That's huge. I think 6E is going to bring value. Now, everybody's heard of multi-gig, right? Does anybody have multi-gig on their switches yet? You know, that ability to go 1 gig or 2.5 gig on an Ethernet port? Well, all of our AX access points, except the very low end, what I call the value line, have a multi-rate port on it already. Why is that good? Because today, if I'm doing a camera system and a couple of cameras attached to the access point, I can start to push beyond a gig throughput. So I need that 2.5 gig. And so that runs over standard copper 6 and 5E, 100 meters, right? And this fits very well. So you should maybe start looking at some switches over time to support the access points like 6E that are going to consume and give you bigger throughput, more highway lanes to get the data there. And the other part is 6E is going to be a little different. Your traditional wireless intrusion prevention doesn't work. So you have to offer it differently for the 6. And so we build in our access point today that we just started shipping, we build a sensor. There's actually a 4th radio there, and it becomes that sensor. And what we use that for is to see what's going on. We see maybe a rogue detection, things of that nature. How's the health of your wireless in your executive areas? And so this tri-band sensor gives you the ability to see what's going on. We think that's a game changer for customers because we want more information. We want to know when somebody calls up and says, the Wi-Fi stinks in the conference room, right? We've all heard it. But I can do things like look at who's in the conference room. I said, George, you're the only one having problems. And by the way, I looked at your system. You're on Netflix. What's going on? So I can look down and in 1 minute, see the applications they're running, their throughput, their user experience, interference, RSSI for received strength signal indication, or SNR, signal strength and noise, and looking at what's going on to interference with the Wi-Fi. In 1 minute, I can tell you, is it an application issue? Is it a network issue? Or is it the device or the end user? And more than likely, about 80% of the time, it's the end user device. But that way you could put it to bed so you're not looking and spending time trying to solve a problem that maybe it was just an old device that they need to update. So some of the vertical challenges that we're seeing is Wi-Fi 6 is going to be a problem child in a couple of areas in warehousing. So you should be aware of this. Wi-Fi 6 wants to separate indoor wireless from outdoor. They do not want to put an external antenna on a Wi-Fi 6E device. Why? Because what is happening is they think if you go with an external antenna, you're going to use it outdoors. And that will become licensed spectrum. You'll have to register it. Is somebody else using that channel going from building to building? Are you going to interfere with someone else's wireless going from their building to building? So we have to look at that. So where have we used it? Freezers. First thing people do is I got to get Wi-Fi because I got people at 30 degrees below and we're making hamburgers or we're doing whatever, right? And it's in a freezer environment and I want to be able to look and see with my scanner and know where my inventory's at. So what do? I need to flood the inside of a freezer environment. So I take the access point, bolt it to the outside, drill 2 holes in the freezer, and put the antennas on the inside. Wait a minute, that requires external antennas. And Wi-Fi 6E, that's going to be a problem. Warehouse ceilings. The access points are way up high, 30, 35, 40 feet. They're not going to perform. They're going to talk to each other, not where the end users are. So we need to look at some of those. In the past, we used technology with antenna systems to drive a tighter cone down where the forklift truck is running. So we think about there's going to be some challenges in warehousing. Just be aware of that. And then, legacy clients. We got a ton of clients. There's billions of clients out there that are still using 2, 4, and 5. And so 6 is going to open up path. As people's devices move to 6E, it'll take pressure off of that 5 and the 2, 4. That's good. In addition to that, we think that legacy population is not going away anytime soon. So what applications? We think 6E is going to be hugely important for personal medical devices, hospitals, biometrics. Maybe you're a breeder and you have a whole bunch of hogs and you want to have an RFID tag on them that keeps track of temperature, heart rate, maybe the health of the animal, how much does it eat or not eat? And if you've got a sick animal, maybe I want to cull it out of the herd. So be aware, we're seeing changes in that. Yes, somebody said even the hogs now and the cows want to watch Netflix. I'm not so sure about that yet. But we're seeing changes in this area. So medical applications or personal wearable devices will definitely leverage 6E. How many of you have automation in a warehouse? I have a client in northern Wisconsin. They make HVAC duct systems, one of the largest in the world. They are now using automated forklifts that are only, and pallets, that are only 4 inches off the ground. So think about the challenges of RF, because we're worried about up here. No, they're worried down here. And when they set a big piece of metal on top of that, it just wiped out all the signal. So we see changes, and having more channels and having that ability will give us flexibility to address manufacturing and warehousing requirements. And then there's a lot of high bandwidth applications. So for example, camera systems, we're starting to push 4K video. I have one client who's a church that is getting ready to do 8K video on these huge walls that are 60 by 40 feet tall. They want the experience to be as if I'm standing right next to somebody, even though I'm 80 miles away. So that pastor can deliver the message. And you know, maybe it's engineering or video systems. These are things that are high bandwidth, and 6E will really bring value to that. So is 6E ready for you? If I'm getting ready to make the jump and start to refresh some of my environment, I think you should look at 6E and then look at the devices that are in your environment. Look at the scanners. Look at your population and be planful. Have a good dialogue about it. Then you can make the right choice around 6E, or do I just stay with Wi-Fi 6? But take a look at that. And we got a great book. You can download it, and it's Wi-Fi 6E for Dummies. David Coleman is CWNE #4 in the world. If you've never listened to his blogs, he's phenomenal. He'll geek out big time. But the good news is he writes a great book that is industry, not extreme specific, and talks about the value and the different advantages. So we're enabling the cloud. Kenny, why don't you talk about these?
Yeah, no problem. So when I start going into the cloud and I start talking about Cisco, I start talking about Aruba, I start talking about the other guys. What are the irrefutable differences about what we do to what they do? We all do networking. We know that. We all have cloud. We know that. Some clouds are Gen 4 like ours. Others are like Gen 2 and Gen 1 and Gen 3. We're the true only Gen 4 cloud in the market today. So when we start thinking about our licensing, what does our licensing bring to the table? I always tell everyone there's 5 irrefutable differences between us and our competitors. And it's the truth. Universal licensing. What does universal licensing mean? Well, universal licensing means any device, one price. That is straight up the truth when it comes to that. Any device, one price. If it's a third-party switch, if it's a third-party Cisco device, third-party Ruckus device, third-party Aruba device, one price, $150 list.
Now, of course, High Point's going to discount that a lot, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. They can discount it to whatever your discount levels are. But so think about that. So you have one license, one device. The other guys come in and they say, hey, well, I need to know all your serial numbers. I need to know everything that's coming across right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and create you a new quote for your renewal. Here at Extreme, we don't believe in that. We believe in you go into Cloud IQ, you look in the top left-hand corner, you see how many active devices you have. Or you go into Copilot, it shows you how many licenses you have, how many Copilot licenses or how many Navigator licenses you have. When renewal comes up, you just open up that page, go in. I have 1,500 devices. You need 1,500 licenses. Done. No math to come. No sticker shock.
You mean I don't have to be a PhD for licensing?
No, not anymore. And also this, let's just say you have those devices. You just bought a bunch 3 years ago. You renewed for 5 years. So that means you have 2 years of licensing. Other companies, what's going to happen? Well, those 2 years of licenses, they follow the device. Here at Extreme, your licensing follows you, the company. That means any license, any device. You pull down 5 access points. You want to go ahead and call up High Point. You want to access 5 more of these Wi-Fi 6E 4000s. Fantastic. No device license needed. Just buy the hardware. And then what's going to happen is they'll expire at the same time as the rest of your contract.
So imagine every time when I worked for Cisco and Aruba, and I did for a long time, very successful and had fun there. Every time I bought a new access point or new switch, I had to buy a new license. Stop the madness. You have one license, it's portable. You just bring the serial number out of the old device you're replacing, and you got a new AP that you want to put in, take over the old and continue operating on that. It saves your budget. We're trying to be respectful in pricing for you.
Now let's start talking about where we're putting the cloud, where we're putting our one pane of glass. Well, we can go to Azure, we can go to GCP, we can go to AWS. Why does that matter? Because when we're selling into Walmart, they don't want to be on an AWS cloud. It
They
just
don't like
doesn't
those
work.
guys.
No, it just doesn't work that way. In the same way, vice versa. So what we've done is this, we've made it available to you. It's your software. You bought it. Use it where you want it. You can put it on GCP. You can use it as Azure. You can use it on AWS. We're the only vendor that has that capability of being able to put your cloud wherever you want it.
But Kenny, what if I want to move? Because I just signed a contract with Azure and I'm on Google and I want to move over to that.
No problem at all. You do a backup of your entire network. That network comes up. You then import it into the new instance, into the new cloud. That's simple. And it sounds a lot more simple than it is, but it truly is that smooth. The only caveat is you may have to go back in and then reconfigure some of the VLAN settings, and that's it.
Correct.
And that's simple. And that's simple. Now think about uptime. This gives us 100% uptime.
So,
AWS is there. GCP is yours. Let's just say for some reason AWS goes down like it did. AWS went down this year already. It didn't go down for that long. It went down for, I think it was 9 hours. Can your business afford for your database to go down for 9 hours, for your website to go down for 9 hours, your POS system to go down for 9 hours? It can't. So you can switch over. The portability is there. Now let's just think about this. The other guys can't do that right now. We know that for a fact. For a fact. Will they get there? Sure, they might be able to get there. Now let's go into here. Let's go into our security. Security is huge. Start to think about security. Why is security huge to us? Why does cloud security matter? Well, we've been investing in you before you've started investing in us. Getting these ISO certifications is very important. When you start looking at the 27,001, everyone will say they have that, which is a total fabrication. Here at Extreme Networks, we did the research and the homework to get our software licensed and certified.
so basically from the access point to the cloud to your console, that entire business process has been validated at 2701. Here's the difference. Our competitors are saying, oh, we're 2701 too. Let me explain what. Their data center is, but not their process. The other side is we're also 2717 and 27701. So what we've done is we've spent the money to have a third-party organization validate. So when you have a compliancy audit, here, hand them the documentation. They're going like, oh my gosh, this is good. None of our competitors have made those other investments. No one in the industry in our networking side between switches and wireless.
And the last two are the multi-deployment. It doesn't matter if you're on-prem. It doesn't matter if you have the edge. It doesn't matter. It's your software. Put it where you want it. The software, the licensing is all going to remain the same. One license, any device, one price. It's the same. If you want to keep it on-prem, fantastic. We'll keep you on-prem. We'll roll you up into Cloud IQ Site Engine. We'll manage everything there through Cloud IQ, and you'll be perfectly fine. Lastly is our third pane of glass. And if you look at here, from the door to the core, you are covered. And if we come all the way up through any vendor, we manage every vendor, which is fantastic. And then last but not least is our essentials package, which we're going to go through. Chris, I'll let you go ahead and shoot through that.
So just because of time, I'm going to move forward. We've talked about it. But one thing I will share, we collect telemetry information from 26 remote data centers around the world. And those telemetry information helps guide us and provide valuable information. We're collecting right now between 11 and 18 petabytes of data per day, but not your data, telemetry information. That's like collecting Lake Superior every 24 hours. And your data in your environment through your log servers might be like a bathtub. So what we're doing is if you're seeing an alert for the first time, I'm seeing it for 10,000 times already, and that guides you on how to resolve issues faster. But what we also did is we made an investment around unlimited data. Everybody wants to go 30 days. What happens if you want to look at historical information 6 months back? Hey, what was that load in the environment over the Christmas holiday last year? You know, we were really stretched thin, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? We have unlimited. No additional cost. None.
And then think about the NFL. Think about having the Super Bowl. Think about having the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. And that same Super Bowl is going to happen in 3 years. Them having the capabilities of going back 3 years and looking up that Super Bowl data. Where was there collisions? Where was there problems on the levels? Maybe upstairs in stadium seating, they couldn't get full access. Maybe down on the field, they couldn't get full bandwidth. Something like that comes up. You can fix that next Super Bowl by going back through that data that we're causing up there. We're holding up there for free.
So one of the things that we did, we wanted to offer more value this year. So we came out with a series of essential applications that come with the base license at no additional charge. Let me fly through them. The first is we offer a 0-day onboarding and config. Very simple. So you want to do a zero-touch config, you want to have a switch show up and come up in a couple of minutes, we've got it. We came out with guest essentials. So if you want to use Google or you want to use any of the social media logins, or maybe you want to use an iPad at the front desk, and I'm here to see Bill, and I send him that Chris is going to talk to him, and he grants me access for 8 hours when I get to the environment. If you want different splash pages, if you want different banners to show up based upon different locations or different companies, great. We've simplified it. You don't have to be an artist or a PhD in HTML programming to do this.
How are these all included at no price where every other vendor charges for every one of these?
We decided we want to create a little more pressure in the industry. We want our competitors to follow us. So we also came out with Air Defense Essentials. Air Defense is the industry leader. It has over 350 signatures to look at security going on in your wireless environment. So we took the top 40 and we brought them down for free. So like rogue detection and things like that that are going to bring you value, automatically just turn it on and configure it the way you want. We also created location essentials to see what's going on in your environment. Maybe you create a zone, and anything in that zone, I want to be notified if it leaves. Or better yet, Bill got sick with COVID, and I want to know who Bill touched over the last couple of days, meaning where was he? And we can see, based on each access point, who was in his vicinity. So this is very positive.
A hospital in Atlanta, what they've done is they actually went up into the nursery, and they actually, on each one of the baby tags that are on their wrist, they actually installed an RFID tag. So now when that baby leaves that area, it automatically gets an alarm. It triggers security and it triggers IT.
And turns on cameras.
Yeah, and it's all done by our wireless with nothing else. No additional sensors needed. 410Cs and they're out the door.
Yeah. And then the two more is we have IoT essentials. How do you secure that device that they want to put in it? Maybe it's a projector like we have here. How do you secure that? Or what about the vendor comes in with a Coke machine? How are you going to secure that? What if the Coke machine connects to your network and now starts transmitting information to Istanbul or someplace that it shouldn't? It should talk to the vendor here in Sioux Falls, right? And that's it. So we can lock devices that you've not thought about down and be more respectful in the security. The last one is the mobile app. If you have installers, you could send them out with a little cell phone, their personal cell phone. They can look at a device, like say they're going to hang a new access point for you. They can shoot it with their QR code that's on the box. It will send you the information of where it was at and place it on the little map. So now they don't have security capability or any configuration or management, because I don't want to grant them that. They're an installer, but I got the device, the location, the serial number accurately put into the system automatically. So we're doing a lot. So we talked about location. The mobile, this is great. You can see what's going on from your cell phone. If somebody says, hey, I'm having a problem, you can instantly look from your app. These are all free. These are the base poker chips that we're creating. We want to lead the industry, and we're doing that. So we introduced a new technology this summer called Copilot. So the first thing we looked at was understanding ones and zeros, looking at that data lake, Lake Superior worth of information. Here's what we did. We know that if a fan dies, it's either on or off, right? Power supply, it's on or off. A couple of ports are either on or off, right? So we looked at the binary issues. Instantly, Copilot has the ability to look and activate. Maybe we'll send you a notification automatically. It says, oh, FedEx, blah, blah, blah. Switch number 23, replace the fan, coming in tomorrow. You didn't call us. Copilot created that. That is this fall. Now we're taking it to the next level. We're looking at when you have an issue that might have 2 or 3 outcomes, but you're going to call TAC. Wouldn't you love the TAC engineer to already have the packet capturing the information right on your ticket the moment it was open? That's what Copilot's doing. It's giving you the guidance of a Copilot to bring value to you, to simplify and reduce the time it takes to resolve an issue. That's the bottom line. We start out small. Our accuracy is up in the 90%. We're not having a lot of false positives, unlike we hear a lot about false positives with machine learning and analytics. But guess what? We're pretty accurate on this. We're having fun. If you get the base product, you get this free. Now, we're going to introduce a new technology next year called autopilot. But I think we probably don't have time to go into that today. But
No.
Copilot launched in May. We made the announcements. We started activating it in August and September, and we've been updating all the remote data centers around the world. And I think we complete this month. So here's a simple piece around Copilot. 2 minutes? Oh, we better fly. So you might have a device. When you talk to a technician, he might say, I've got a device down. You could open a chat window with the technician right away, and he could say, oh, you've got an issue. You've got an update of a patch or something here, push it out. Do you want to do it now or do you want to do it later? Copilot can simplify that. And of course, we make a ton of different access points. Some are controller-based, and for certain environments, that's good. We also make a ton of cloud-based access points. And if you look in the upper right corner, the new 6 gigahertz AP4000, we shipped it already. So we're the first in the world to ship Wi-Fi 6E. But we've got a variety from our value line to a tri-radio system that has both 2.4, a software-defined 2.4, and another software-defined 2.4 and 5, so that you can set up sensors automatically inside the access point. And then we have our hermetically sealed ones on the out where we eliminate some of the cost of those expensive antennas for $300-400. We build them right into the access point. It really brings some huge value. And those are IP67s, so they're rated for -30 up to 50 degrees Celsius. So in extreme temperature environments, barns, freezers, we put these all over. And golf courses, we're lighting golf courses now. So fun stuff. We talked about security. All of the certifications, when you log into Cloud IQ in the upper right-hand corner, you can click on it, you can download them and show them to your security personnel. We post them, we want you to see them. So we're making huge investments to bring value to you. We think we've got a great solution out there, but I'm going to offer something. Here, coming up in the 26th of this month in Fargo, we've rented an aircraft museum for World War II aircraft. Come join us for lunch. Everyone who attends will get a coupon to attend our flight school. A flight school gives you about 2.5 hours, and we'll teach you how to set up security and that on our cloud. We'll let you take control of that, and then I'll send you a free AP. Yeah, you can't buy them, but we'll send you one. And here's the cool part. We're also doing it in Minneapolis on the 28th, and both of those we will have a Zoom meeting so that if you can't attend in person, we'll have you be able to Zoom in for that 1 hour over lunch. Bring your own lunch at that point, and we'd love for you to attend and enjoy, learn, and experience what Extreme does best, is give customers value. So with Kenny, any last minute words?
Two things. The one thing, if you need a proof of concept, if you need something, get a hold of Chris. Chris can go ahead and get you a proof of concept, get you an AP, get you a switch, show you that what we're talking about isn't just fluff. It's exactly what we're doing. This is why we're taking the industry by storm. And then lastly, if you go on LinkedIn, my name's Kenny Peach, like the fruit. He is Chris Young with Extreme. You add us on LinkedIn. Anyone that adds us on LinkedIn today, we're going to pick out 2 individuals. And we're going to give them a free backpack. We're going to go ahead and do it. It's an Opticon backpack by Extreme. Add us on LinkedIn. We'll hook you up with a backpack. And if there's anything else you need, these flight schools are amazing. Free training is always amazing. Check us out. We appreciate you guys very much for attending this today. Thank you.
Any questions from the team? Or did we bore you? I hope not.
All right, guys.
Thank you again very much. Appreciate it.